Hello and welcome to Upload,
A podcast by those who upload, for those who want to.
or who already do.
And anyone else for that matter.
My name is Lionheart and I've been creating content for over a decade.
And my name's Midgeman, and I've been trying to create content for almost a decade.
Together with some of our friends and fellow content creators, we're going to be exploring the great big world of content creation.
We'll be looking into the serious topics that face content creators today.
Because if someone said that to me like in person, or said that kind of stuff to me, you know, IRL, I wouldn't take it. So why would I take it like online? Why would I hide aspects of sort of my identity?
As well as some less serious topics.
I've been blindsided by the fact that one of your old live streams is called Suck My Missile for like the last
Sorry,
10
what?
minutes.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Upload.
Hello and welcome to Upload, the content creator podcast for those who upload, those who want to, and anyone else for that matter. My name is Midgeman.
And I'm Lionheart.
And before we get on with today's show, please remember to like, rate, share, turn on any auto downloaders, and if you want to get in touch with the podcast, you can do so through our various comment sections or more directly by going to our email, hello@uploadpodcast.co.uk. And come join us on the Discord as well. We're starting our creator bootcamp and stuff. So if you want us to help you or just a shouting board for ideas, it's one of the best places to be. Anyway, Lionheart, we've been in a weird spiral of we've done a lot of recording and batch recording for a long time, and then we've taken quite a lot of breaks. So we've had a bit of a stop-start recently. But in the time that me and you have been apart, I have started using Blue Sky.
Oh, yeah. Is that the thing that you still need an invite to get into, or have they opened it up?
No longer.
Oh, it's no longer.
And do you know one of the things you can
gates are
do
down.
that's really cool?
Yeah.
Your handle on Blue Sky, if you want it to be custom, you link it to your domain. So there's physically no way someone can falsify being you because it's a text file on your domain server.
Oh, nice.
So mine is I'm at midgeman.tv on there. That's me on Blue Sky. Come follow me. But one of the things I found on Blue Sky is I was really nervous to move over there for various reasons. Mainly because Twitter as a social media industry and for the video games and influencer industry, whilst it is not really there for your fans anymore, it is like our LinkedIn. I would say as a content creator, it is our LinkedIn. I've got 1,000 and a bit followers on Twitter. I've got quite a lot of people that I interact with all the time. It's where I'll go to if I need to complain about tech support or like Amazon not giving me a parcel or anything of that sort. But one of the things I found with Blue Sky is there are some things on there, some quality of life things that Twitter doesn't have that have made it a very enjoyable experience. And my growth on there has been exponentially good. The first thing is people can curate follow lists. So lists of people all in so for example, I'm on a list for community managers within the gaming industry.
Okay, yeah.
Or it's community management and influencer management all in one list. And the cool thing about these lists is either you can scroll through and individually follow certain people you want to, or there's a one tap option where you go, okay, I want to follow everyone on this list. So people joining Blue Sky, finding the list and then going, boom, follow means just suddenly loads of followers. Also, hashtags are kind of a thing again.
Oh, really?
So they're kind of working for growth. And the final thing, which I think is really cool, is you as a person can subscribe to follow custom feeds. So at the where you have the For You page, you have a For You page, you have a From Friends page, you have a Discovery Find Random Things page, and then the rest of the pages on that swipe you can customly sign up to. So for example, I'm going to shout out Matthew over at Hooded Horse because he's been putting in some absolute work on Blue Sky to set things up. He's curated one of the social community and influencer manager lists.
That's Surreal Beliefs, I believe.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Honestly, they've gotten so again, when I was Paradox event recently, I was having a chat with their community guys, and they were like, "Oh yeah, what's happened to this guy?" And I was like, "Oh, he's over at Hooded Horse now." And he's like, "What? They've got him as well? We've got to invite them to events, but we can't now because we know they're busy and they're doing other stuff." And it's going to be really interesting just to kind of have a look back in 2 to 3 years to kind of see. It's not saying it's a perfect background to come from, but it's really refreshing to see how creator focused and forward thinking they are, because they're filled with either ex-creators or people that are still creators that know the ins and outs of the struggles that the creators they're reaching out to are actually having. And I feel like it's not always the case, but I feel like their campaigns are very well reflected in going, look, we know the issues you're facing right now. Here's how we pitch our next title or something we'd like to get you involved with in a way that's actually going to work well for you. Or even if it just comes down to, hey, here's a game key. And by the way, here's all the assets that you would want before you need to ask for them, because they get it. And I mean, the fact that we've had Havoc on here. And I mean, he's done a huge amount of asset work over the years for me and for other creators. And like,
it's kind of biased because half of Hooded Horse are just our friends. it's kind of a put, so it's hard not to sound biased.
Do we just coming soon, the Upload podcast, now part of the Hooded Horse group.
Either way, but yeah, so you can also create your own like page feeds. So if there's a community of people you always want to hear from, you can essentially create a list that's custom for that people can subscribe to and follow.
Oh, that's really cool.
So like I've been using it properly for a week, and I am at currently 208 followers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's really good.
Considering I've got like 1.2k on Twitter, it's like, wow. Because like I started, this is a week. I started posting again 7 days ago. Before then, I had 13 followers. And just getting in these lists, like getting some curated lists and like getting involved with the groups on there, there's just a very big community spirit. And it feels really weird and fresh for a platform. So yeah, come find me on Blue Sky. I'm far more active on there than I am Twitter at the moment. So come say hi. Also, I think with what Musk has done recently, there has been a big shift, because I don't know if you saw the data on how many people went, like how many new Blue Sky accounts there are.
I have not.
Oh boy, it was like there was something like 100,000 new accounts the day that this was announced.
I mean, I think the fact they've now made it so you don't need an invite or anything like that was such a, like when all the things are like reels, not reels, was it threads, and this was all coming out, but you know, people just largely went to threads because you couldn't get into Blue Sky unless you had an invite or they were doing their next round of it. Now it's like, I mean, literally what I was talking, I've just signed up to Blue Sky. I'm at Lionheart Extend. I've only followed one person right now, and it's you.
I'm your first follower. Wow.
Yeah.
I need to follow you back. Hold on.
But literally just loading into it, it looks like old Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. They've chosen.
That's all it needs to be.
I'm going to find this graph of downloads of Blue Sky. I'm going to have to put this in. I'm going to send this to you on Discord. But I just want to show you the line go up that they're having.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's huge.
So one of the things I might do for us is get upload podcast on there and curate a list of people who have been on the podcast as people to follow.
Definitely.
As a guest of upload podcast list as a thing, or recommended creators list or something. It's either way. It's really nice to see development in this space, especially for on a creator standpoint, and having more avenues and somewhere that people can grow offline that isn't a video platform, that is a text platform like this, or also connects so easily. Like I've met so many different people in the industry that I work in, for example. There is actually now a future in this platform, which I think is why you're seeing people join it more. How they handle that is going to be exciting to see. It could go all horribly wrong, like it does for a lot of startup internet companies. But yeah, that's been my major development in the last week. I've got a gripe that I want to talk to you about, and this is also a bit of a warning to people out there working with sponsor companies. I'm not going to name names of the certain company. I've had two very differing experiences. One absolutely wonderful one, which we spoke about before, which was about the mechanical stuff. I was in the process recently of working through another sponsor who in the end, I personally had to say, sorry, I can't do this anymore. And there was a lot of red flags throughout the process. The biggest of being they asked me to break UK law, which is always fun. In the end, it got to the point of signing the contract when I told them that I couldn't do that and stuff, that they revealed that the style of content that I thought that they had ordered from me was completely wrong compared to the contract. They were hoping to get, for example, I sent them a pitch doc of all of my pricing for various formats broken down by the style of video. They priced out a set of videos for short format, got to the contract. It was 16:9 full YouTube videos that they had requested instead in the contract. And when I raised that, they were like, no, this is what we had said. And I was like, no, this is not what you ordered from me. I'm sorry. And they rolled it back and were like, okay, can we get this instead? And I was just like, honestly, no, I'm done being pushed about or messed with. And it's just like, it's such a dichotomy of experience out there that I just almost wanted to say a little bit of a warning to creators, but also just know where you have to stand. For example, if you are a UK creator and someone asks you to not disclose that this is a paid partnership in any way, you physically can't do that. And you must tell people that, because it's not the same in every country. But in the UK, we updated our consumer protection laws in 2021 around massively the advent of TikTok and some other things. And then again in 2022 to include description disclosure. Just putting hashtag ad is technically not enough in the UK. You have to physically label YouTube videos that are sponsored. Even if you've received something for free and there's no monetary payment, you have to like mark that down. I think we've spoken about it on the podcast before, but if you've gotten a key from someone, it's always good to mark the YouTube video just because you're a UK person to cover you in that regard, and make sure you say in the description, thank you to so-and-so for giving me the key. This is the thing. But yeah, you legally have to. And we have a marketing protection agency, I think it's the AMA in the UK. The Ask Me Anything. I might be wrong. It is not the Ask Me Anything. What is it?
Is it ASA?
Oh, it might be the ASA. Yes.
Yeah, Advertising Standards Authority. Yeah.
That's right. The Advertising Standards Authority. Sorry. ASA. They actually have a really good downloadable PDF of the do's and don'ts around this. Just put in like ASA ad disclosure YouTube and it will all come up. But this is also a really good PDF to have as a point of like their guidelines are downloadable and you can use that and you send that. It's legitimately, I downloaded it and I sent it to this company. I was like, hey, you're asking me to break YouTube, not YouTube law, UK law, and here's the guidelines, just so you're aware. Because it's also one of those things of if you've got facts to back up things, because they tried to go, so, okay, can you put this in the description, but don't say that you were given anything. I was like, no, I have to. It's like, I'm sorry, this is...
You have to fully disclose it, yeah.
It's just more of a warning and be careful. But it's also one of those things of, oh my gosh, is it so difficult to say no to money sometimes? Especially like right now. We were saying just before the podcast, I'm having a little bit of a lower view month. I think quite a few people are.
I am, yeah.
And I'm partially, now that I've gotten out of the mindset of what am I doing wrong, I know YouTube is updating its algorithm again right now because of the extension of shorts to include like the mediums, whatever we're calling it, cargo shorts. Like what's a bigger shorts?
There's definitely been a shift because I've noticed even that like just the views coming in are lower, and I think it's just like the I'm not getting either pushed out to feeds as much, or the algorithm isn't pushing it. I mean, I was actually, I think probably I kind of went down one of my like worry holes, I'll call it. Maybe I should rephrase that, a worry hole, but yeah, like it happens a couple of times a year. Typically with the type of content I do, because I come to a point where I've got like either no new series recently started and that let's plays are all dragging on a bit, the views are all substantially down, and I always get into this mindset of thinking, is this the end? Is this everything starts tanking? I'm thinking, is this the end of the channel? Is it the falling off point? And largely, I think if you've got an active channel, even if you go through a couple of months of it going down, I don't think that actually is truly the end of it, unless there are outside external factors of I don't know, some scandal or some drama or something like that makes people want to not regularly tune in ever again. Whereas most of the time people are like, he's towards the end of a series, I'm just not that interested anymore. I'll wait until he uploads something new. Then you start, then I go into a cycle of I start doing new series and it starts picking up again. I kind of had a full start there because I hoped that my Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 series would have done a fair bit better than it has done. But I think a lot of that is I'm at this point where I'm in between the hype schedule for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is the whole reason I'm doing this first one, is that I want to play through the game ready for 2, and I think that will do much better. But this is a game that originally came out in 2018, so I've definitely missed I started the series and I just never finished it back when it first came out, and that did way better than this one is doing. But it's weird. It's doing well on Twitch, which is fine, and it's not doing terribly on YouTube. It's just I was hoping the numbers would essentially be double what they're currently coming in at. But I think this is one of those times where it is definitely worth laying the groundwork, having that series, because it should mean that hopefully the algorithm, when 2 comes out and I start releasing that, I'm already at the forefront of some of those algorithmic pushes because I've recently completed or have ongoing a Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 series. And it'll be interesting to see perhaps when Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes out, whether I see a spike in my Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 stuff, because it will be a more recent series, because most of the series that you look for people playing through the game right now are from a good few years ago. I'm about to start another series this week as well, and I've got another one that I'm probably going to start in 2 to 3 weeks time, plus there's new Crusader Kings DLC coming at the start of November, and hopefully the main thing is there hasn't been new Total War content for a while, and I'm at a point, actually I kind of realized it on stream, I'm at a point where I think I'm at the least amount of Total War content dedicated on my channel right now that I've ever had in all the years that I've been doing. Total War makes up the smallest proportion of content. That's going to change this Friday because I'm starting a new Total War series on Empire Total War. Kind of going back to that, doing a Great Britain campaign, the rise of the British Empire. It's kind of like a break glass in case of emergencies. The ultimate break glass in case of emergency moment is wait until the new Warhammer 3 DLC releases, hopefully at the end of this year. That's when they're currently looking at it from what they last told us. If those series do poorly, then I know okay. Then I've really got to start rethinking stuff. But I don't think so. I think it's just a case of, it's a shift that's been happening for probably 4 or 5 years now, of slowly moving away from some Total War. I'm never going to fully move away from it, but I've been moving away into the likes of Crusader Kings and Bannerlord, and that's all worked well while those games were brand new, regularly updated, and things like that. But as time goes on and there's nothing else filling those gaps, because we're at this kind of point actually where, yes, there's still plenty of games coming out, but actually in our kind of niche, the gaps between games that are going to broadly appeal to the same audience are actually getting bigger. I had this moment, I end up talking to my wife, and she's always really good at kind of just going like, look, it's not the end. You're having a bad few weeks, which might be a bad month, realistically, but you've got stuff planned. And if not, well, this isn't the end of your channel. You'll just find out where it goes down to before you then start working with the audience that you've kept invested in the stuff that you've shifted to. And then you'll start building up with that when you start. And again, especially with Let's Play stuff, it is a really hard mentality to kind of get through. And even, kind of, I guess, a veteran like myself that's been doing it all these years, I have to remember, this is my pattern that I follow, the rise and fall of new games. And when there are less new games that are going to appeal to my audience, the rises might be bigger, but the falls are going to be even greater as well.
Absolutely. And I think I'm seeing a very similar thing right now. It's quite fun. Not quite fun. It's quite interesting that we're both having a similar vein. I actually wrote a blog on this the other day. I've clearly missed not talking about upload stuff on a weekly basis recently.
Needed to get it out in another medium. Yeah.
But it's also one of those things of just as a mental health thing, writing things down and journaling is a very, very good thing.
Yeah. As we say, like, this whole thing, I think, first and foremost, is a therapy for us.
I was about to make it funny. I was about to say, costs as much as therapy.
Yeah. We're now going to need to pay for more therapy for this therapy. Yeah. But I think it'd be interesting to get actually perhaps some of the guests that we've already had on at some point in the future and say, like, how weird, like, not to kind of to mock it or anything, but actually, how does like talking about this make you feel? Because for us, it obviously is a huge weight and burden off us. Like now, I honestly, my heart has risen a little bit, kind of knowing that you're seeing similar trends. It's not quite like everything's instantly okay, but like I feel better about it knowing that, because I know that you're very switched on in not just our niche trends, but also kind of across the whole platform. You're very knowledgeable, and you're very good at following and knowing when things are trending in certain ways or changing. It's very heartwarming knowing that we cover similar sorts of games, but in very different content formats, which is the biggest thing. And we're seeing the same thing, because usually I'm like, okay, it's because I do Let's Plays. Mine aren't big, high view gaining things. It's a trickle.
Yeah. Whereas I do heavily edited Let's Plays, essentially, because one of the things when I'm doing a playthrough of a series, I very rarely actually still do one-offs. I tend to do 3 videos. My series, I compact essentially a streamer video. If it was something live, or it's essentially that, whereas like a playthrough will be 3 video campaign and then 1 make a cut. And I had a really successful first part of a video series that started in September. Like the first video, that's 50k views. The second video, that is 11k views, and then the third one was 6.9k now. But up until about a week and a bit ago, it was half that. And it was like one of those things of, oh no, okay, so I didn't do that series. And then we put out the Timberborn sponsored video, absolutely flopped, which is another thing that I was going to dive into at some point. We might not have time today.
You said you did it without pushing it to subscribers, right?
Normally that works. However, it just could not find the audience.
It couldn't find anything. So that's the pretty much the exact same thing I happened, which is when I turned one of my Let's Plays that was kind of failing. Not failing, but it was very low views. And I thought, I'll try that tip. And then I literally had to scrub it within about an hour, because it had like 28 views after an hour. And I was like, it should have like a 0 on the end of that. So it's really interesting to see how that sometimes does work and then doesn't.
One thing I wonder if it does, like the whole technique doesn't work as well on sponsored videos was one of my things.
Oh, because it's flat. Yeah.
Because like I wonder if the marked as sponsor video, like there's something tied to its algorithm about notification.
Is there a separate algorithmic check into that? Yeah.
It might be a thing of, oh, they're not wanting to notify people and it's marked as an ad. Maybe this is to just be background and pushed as a paid ad. Might be something that goes in. But if I go to the analytics of this video and actually look at it, this is the videos suggesting this content, traffic sources. Like, it's like one of these is my top 10 Manalords guides, and then it's someone's part 12 of a RimWorld playthrough. It is Pyromance? I don't know what this is. Pyromancer Platinum. And then you've got Can I Find This Game Book? Ghost of Tabor. We've got Earbuds That Make Me Don't Want Anything, like Telltale Heart, Clash of Clans, Factorio, kind of getting there.
Yeah.
And we finally get like, what is this? Like, and it's only
there we go. That's finally it there. Yeah.
I looked around. This was the best performing video from this Timberborn campaign.
Oh, really?
Because I was diving to go, oh my God, other people have done this. How are their videos performing? Like, Pravus did one, and even his video kind of underperformed. So sadly, I just don't think the news is out there enough about Timberborn outside of some really established channels.
Yeah, I think it's very niche, which hopefully that's reflected in what they were looking at with their ROIs for this campaign, knowing that because they spread out to strategy and builder channels and stuff, right?
This is Real Civil Engineer. It's a really good channel, actually.
I've been watching some of his stuff, yeah.
This guy is actually a civil engineer in real life, and then does a lot of building games and does a lot of tutorial stuff as well. Anyway, his video, I think, is the best performing from this. He obviously has a 2.3 million subscriber fan base, and he got 250,000 views. Which kind of, if you exponentially like cut that down to a channel of my size, actually pulling 1.5k views is not a be-all and end-all bad thing. It's still not as good a click-through rate as this video will have, but it's like, it's starting to tell me that it wasn't all me, but I think I should have notified my subscribers with this one, and I don't think I'll be trying that to the end. But again, I pre-arranged with Mechanistry to test this. They were on board with it. I showed them the potential risk and also the potential success of it. And they were like, okay, it actually makes sense, because also I showed them the last 7 out of 10 videos I've done have all been CK3 or Game of Thrones or CK. That is the current active people. I can't guarantee that they will, click on over. So it's like everything I was saying was like, they're okay with taking the risk. And so, but I still feel guilty about invoicing them for a video that did that. And it's like one of those things of when the invoice comes through, I might actually just pay an advertisement just so I can get a bit more views on it, just to be like, I feel bad that I haven't. I feel like I've underperformed for them is the other thing, which is seeing that, and then also having bad views recently was my brain went, oh no, I've failed, I've screwed it, which is actually a lot of what I went into my blog. Sorry, going back to it. Basically, I think I've discovered what my new baseline is, and I've set a very ambitious goal for next year, and I calculated it out that if this current baseline continues, in the time between now and next September, my channel will gain another 1.2 million views, which sounds amazing. But when you extrapolate that out into the weeks, that's 321 weeks, garnering 8,000 views every 48 hours, translates to a gain of about 7,000 subscribers and puts me at 25k. My goal is to get to 100k. It's not quite enough for growth. At that rate, I would somehow have to get to, to actually make my big 100k, I technically need to try and get 250 subscribers a day until then, which sounds crazy, but it's not when you get certain videos do well. But basically, it's a case of, because of how low the views have been recently, it's made the goalposts further away. But as soon as I get another video that, say, hits 100k views, we're pod racing again. It's just like reaching my new normal, my new baseline, where like the views are lower, but I'm getting the same peak on every video of about the same views. That happened faster than I was expecting, and that's where my knock comes in. It's definitely not a bad thing, because compared to this time last year, my normal was about 200 views a week. So for it to be, or 200 views every 48 hours. So for the flat line to be 8,000 views every 48 hours, hell yeah. Hell yeah. The way I'm finding out what my real-time views every 48 hours, I think is part of my vidIQ extension. I don't know if this is base and YouTube Analytics, but either way, it shows me my top content for that period as well. Oh, no, this is base YouTube, I think. I'm not sure. I've got so many plugins on my YouTube, I don't know what's going on. Either way. And I wrote this blog article before releasing this Manor Lords guide. I noticed a trend that in the recent period, a lot of my older videos for Manor Lords were outperforming even my Game of Thrones videos that I'd have produced in this week. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did an updated Manor Lord guide, which also flopped. And I was like, okay, no, it is just a channel-wide thing. Yeah, because it was like a lot of older content was getting more views than current content, my brain goal was like, okay, this is just, well, now it's just a case of, okay, this is my new baseline. My successful videos are always going to be garnering success. My current videos aren't doing very well. This is just a low point spike, and I'm okay with it. I haven't seen this live viewer. Like right now, I'm at 9.7, which is because I've released 2 videos recently, these 2, which are now are like some of the best performing in the last 48, which is good. They weren't when they came out, which was worrying. But yeah, as you can see, my average, like the last couple of days, got to about 8k. Like 8.2, I think, is the lowest I saw it go. If I went back again this time last year, it will be saying like, 125 in the last 48 hours or 250. So either way, it's all still growth. It's just like one of those things of, boy, oh boy, was it rough. But there's a whole combination of things. Like Lionheart was saying with his content, I reached the end of a smaller series, like 50k down to 11 down to 6. I actually stopped doing this series as a part 4. I'm just going to do a mega cut with part 4 on the end of it, because my brain went, okay, part 4, which is also one of the better parts, is probably going to get about 3k. And that alone isn't worth the edit time. Let's make a bigger video and try and garner more views that way as a sort of a end cap for it. Plus also to not drag out that series anymore, to not have that slot be taken up by a video that isn't going to perform well. Let's try some new things. I had this bigger guide here that I thought was going to do better than it did, and it really didn't. And I thought, I've got this guide, the shorter guide, the Manalord's guide, revisiting the topic that is constantly giving me views, and it didn't. And I was like, okay. Sometimes it's just not the right time for your videos. And that's a big thing that I think we all forget. But sometimes a topic just isn't popular right now. It could be as simple as there are some really popular games out that everyone is playing,
and people are shifting away from your niche for those right now, and they're just not looking for content on your stuff. Especially, like, I think the biggest thing with like Total War stuff, because we're essentially seeing DLC every 6 to 8 months, or there being gaps that big. After about 2 months, the drop off is huge, and I've tried to kind of go, I need to keep Total War content bumping along in between. Actually, I think actually with how my recent Total War series that I've started would have been done, at least on Warhammer 3 stuff, probably other historical stuff would have done a little bit better. And I'm hoping this Empire Total War series does all right. Is that there's just, there's very little interest in Warhammer 3 outside of the new content right now. Also, especially when you're playing a character that's been out for a few years as well. And I think I probably would have been better served by not doing interim Warhammer 3 stuff and just waited for more DLC and come back to it fully. I should have probably leaned more into the historical stuff, because I now find myself tied down to these series that aren't performing as well, but I'm probably only about halfway through them, and I don't want to just end them. They're not at a point where I can just go, it's neatly wrapped up in a bow. So I'm like, right, okay. So I've got to, fully embrace I'm in the trenches, and I've just got to muddle through a little bit longer. One thing I did do the other day, though, because I was kind of full, down the worry rabbit hole, I threw out a quick and dirty short just to boost my
so did I.
viewing
oh my god,
numbers,
I did it.
and it made me feel so much better just for a little bit.
So the Game of Thrones guys, I absolutely love them. I get early access to their stuff, etc. But they're really quiet to me when they're going to update. And I was building that North guide for weeks, and it kind of should have come out like a week earlier than it should because of production reasons. It happens. They updated to Roads to Power to be able to play the Game of Thrones mod in Roads to Power in lightning speed. They are like the first overhaul mod to have actually fully updated. They did it in like 2 weeks, which is insane. Everyone was like, and everything that I'd heard whispers from like other QA and some of the devs was like, it's probably going to take months beforehand and stuff. And I think it helps because they essentially have to rebuild entirety of CK for their mod to work these days. So it's like, it was probably just adding things rather than taking things away. There wasn't really a compatibility issue, but it's just added those new features in. Also, they had a new start date ready to go, and it blindsided me. I had no idea it was going to update. I was just like, I got a message from Mikey in our fun group chat that we use to when we play Hunt, and he just goes, "Yo, CK a Game of Thrones just updated," and I was like, I'm middle of a work day and about to release loads of content on the old patch. What the did you just tell me? And so I quickly made a short. I had to rescope all the things I had in production, and I was just like, I need this short to do all right, and it's all right. 15k views, I'll take that. It's that's better than any video that I've released in this period has done. And you know what? I might do it again. I might put another short out in the meantime, because you know what? £2 on a short, I'll take it. But the view count, making my line go up, just feels a bit better, you know?
Yeah,
just
it
feels
does.
A bit better.
Yeah.
And also shorts are still one of the best ways to grow in terms of subscriber gain. So if I want to make sure I meet my subscriber goals, might need to do something. It's just picking the right short and making sure I do something right with them. Yeah,
that's for me is because I have very limited time with all the content I'm doing anyway. It was trying to find a clip that would have something appealing, basically, and thankfully it proved really difficult to I'm trying to remember how I actually downloaded it in the end, but it was a YouTube clip. I eventually managed to figure out how to download it and then turn it into a short or something. I think actually in the end I could share it and remix it into a short. There wasn't a way of just downloading it and doing it that way that I would normally do it. But it was Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings mod, Realms in Exile, dying because he stepped on a miniature, and I said Aragorn dies from Lego, death by Lego, or something like that, and that got like 12k views. I'm like, yay! That gave me a nice little happy boost. I was like, yay! Typically, I try to aim for having 40,000 daily views. When it drops below it, I know that I need to pitch in. At the moment, as I said, the last 48 hours is 73k views. I'm averaging like 35 to 37k a day at the moment, which is still fine. But like that, I don't know, that for me kind of just makes me think, oh, that's like 2017 levels of what you're doing. Come on, let's get it back. But the thing is, there's external factors, and it's also looking at that. It's interesting. My views might be down, but my revenue is still. I mean, it's a little bit lower, but it's still not colossally down to 2017 levels, just because, again, lots of changes to the way ads are integrated. They're higher paying, things like that. Also, as we've talked about before on the podcast, depends the region that they're going to, the ad rates that they have there. Like watch time isn't terrible. Subscriptions they're all right, considering I've got no like brand new fresh stuff out and it's not something trending. So it's like, it's balancing the expectations of, okay, one metric is down. It might be a big important one to you, but calm down, because it's not the end. Like, again, although this October, I think probably will be my lowest views for well over a year. Actually, I'm just gonna do like the last 4 years, and then if I look at that in advanced mode, just out of interest, I want to see what my total was if I sort it not by daily but by monthly. Is that my lowest that I've had so far projected? My last lowest number was of this level, June 2022, which was when we moved house. So that's why less content out. Then it was March 2023 and February. I think probably just limited new content. I was probably still uploading regularly. And then other than that, June of this year when I was on paternity leave. So yeah, but this is going to be lower than. It's probably going to be lower than all of those, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's going to be. If I go back and let me add another 2 years to the things, see how far back we go. So I'm going to have to really go far back on the views here. Over the last, here we go, it's loaded. Oh wow. Yeah, literally, this could be the lowest month of views I potentially have had since maybe 2014, 2015.
Wow.
That is also, like, broadly looking at my views, they have dropped from, I think their height was probably 2017. So like Warhammer 2, that was the absolute peak of the highest number for the year. Maybe it peaked again in 2019 when we had Three Kingdoms. That did pretty well. We still had really good peaks when Warhammer 3 came out, but then the drop off afterwards. Again, I think state of play almost is the peaks are higher, but the lows are lower. And it's about kind of finding where that new normal level is of where it falls down to. But the thing is, though, if we correlate views to revenue, overall views per year are trending down, but revenue is increasing because of more efficient ad formats, higher payments, and also if we look at watch time as well, that's also going up rather than going down, despite overall views being down. It's
also like, I think you've already identified a key factor in why your views are down, which is Total War is having a hard time right now. My guess would be that it's time to, one, like you're doing already, slightly retracting, pivoting away from focusing so solely on the newer stuff and going into more nostalgia clicks, but also just experimenting new games. I know Kingdom Come hasn't been as a hit, but number 2 hopefully will have a bit more hype.
The thing is, I've got to remember that I'm laying the groundwork with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
There's it's prep work for number 2, because obviously there will be a huge amount of trending and hype and algorithmic shifting to find channels around that content, and if I can make sure mine's going out alongside all that, then it should see quite a nice little boon and boost around that. it's also the state of play. Like, people always say like, oh, let's plays are on the decline. And it's like, yeah, they are on the decline to a degree, unless you're really established. But even for established stuff, like I'm seeing it for some other big let's play channels, their views are coming down as well. They're still perfectly sustainable and survivable and profitable. It's weird because we're at a time where probably long formats in one of the best places it's seen. And I think that will only continue with the shift of shorts becoming longer. Because it's all about like a discoverability thing. And if people are like, oh, I really enjoyed that. God, I wish this wasn't only a minute long. Oh, here, have longer shorts. Oh, I wish this short wasn't only 3 minutes. Oh, they've done a full video of 15. I wish they did something longer. Do they do a full hour? Oh, they do. Wow. It's going to feed into that, I think.
But there's also just like general things of people that I know to be established in the large genre. I'm looking around and looking at their views and seeing like some of these people have some insanely good thumbnails and stuff, and I'm like, they're doing everything YouTube right, but their view counts aren't what they used to be right now. I think there is, because as well algorithmically there's a big push for smaller creators right now. There's the YouTube's testing some things down there. I think just the market is flush right now. It's a bit of a light period. I wonder how many other creators have those break glass in case of emergency moments with their channels and what they do. This is me projecting at this point. Spiffing Brit's most recent video is, I think, a Skyrim video. And I think for him, that's his like break glass. It might not be, but like something like that.
Yeah, go back to Skyrim if in doubt. Yeah.
Although he has still been doing numbers, so we can't really complain. It's just like one of those things of everyone still needs those pieces of content that tick over, and it's like I just wonder how many people question that, because I think it comes into the imposter syndrome of content creation. Of I wonder how many people are seeing less views right now and what the content's doing. But it's like I'm even looking at people like Lath, like friend of the channel Lath. His views are really good all around. I know he's testing new content as well, but it's like he'll have one super hitting video, but then some of his other videos are just not as performing right now. And I think we might be seeing this quite a lot.
The other thing as well, I think I'm still recovering from my holiday.
Yeah, quite probably.
So something I kind of wonder if maybe it would be better to do, and it's something I'm going to do potentially over Christmas a little bit, although I tend to not take more than like a few days off. But I actually wonder, would it have been better for me not to upload at a reduced rate at all, and rather have gone, right, here's a week without videos and then come back at full rate going boom, 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 rather than kind of drip feeding stuff? Because I kind of feel like that helped tail things off. And now it's taken a really long time and it's not actually peaked because I don't have anything brand new to boost it. Whereas I wonder if I'd gone, right, hard stop, nothing for a week, guys, and then come back and gone, boom, would that have been better? But the thing is, we will never know that unless we have a time machine. Kind of coming back to the whole like mental health of it all. That does not help, because I'm like, is it me doing it? Is it the fact I took a holiday? Is it a bit of both? What's going on? Like,
I think it would be neglectful for content creators in their imposter syndrome moments to say that it isn't their fault at all. Because there is always going to be the human element of, okay, I've made a wrong choice somewhere, or I've not proactively done enough. And this is one of those things, just like why, again, going back to blog, why I wrote it, I was like, mostly, I don't care if nobody reads this. If I've not made a good argument here, I have not said much. This is me working through my executive dysfunction and getting out of the life cycle of I'm failing and going, okay, how do I fix? And I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway with anything, with when you see failing views, when you see faltering, when you trip, is just taking a breath and going, actually, some of it is going to be my fault, but it's always going to be my fault. I'm always going to be the human running this channel. I'm one of the elements in production that can't be controlled, and my life is always going to be an element to that. It's as long as I then use that to guide what I do next. And what you do next might not succeed, but it also might. So that's just, you've got to get into the mindset of Lath. Going back to Lath, when he came on the podcast, he says, I never see a failure. I see a moment for us to all sit down and learn from. We sit and do breakdowns of things. And he's very good at that. I don't think I'm as good as him at doing that yet. It's a skill I really want to develop and be far more comfortable in my failures. I'm hoping we're all going to be on and up. Otherwise, me and Lion here are kind of out of a job soon. To round out as well what you said, I'm not glad that you're also having a lower period, but I'm more comforted in the fact.
It's the biggest reassurance I think other creators can go is like, is the platform also sucking for you right now? Yes, it is. Cool. It's not, as I say, it's not like, again, there's always probably something you can be doing and thinking about. And like for me, it's like highlighting, right, what's my next series that I'm hoping is going to take off. I've got a few more planned, other mods I want to check out. There's lots in the way. The thing is, I think as well, it's frustrating knowing that I can't jump on them instantly because I just don't have the time. And it's like, but it's like there's light at the end of the tunnel. A couple of weeks down the line, hopefully, things are on the up. But all that aside, and it is still important to be kind of self-critical and reflective on what you're doing. Often, a large chunk of the time, it is external factors that it's not you. It's me being YouTube right now, or the algorithm. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem and not you.
The audience is a huge factor as well. Audience opinion changes. Like, for example, if there is like hate towards a company, you're going to find people less engaging with those games. Like that can be a thing. Also, even like if I've mentioned it multiple times to people, it's like, please, if you are a subscriber or a video viewer or anything, and you really want to support someone's channel, the worst thing you can do is click onto a video to give it a view and then click off of it. If your watch time, your watching of the video is trash, YouTube recognizes that, and your voting power is bigger than someone who is just an average viewer.
Also, please leave a comment as well, because just engagement as well, like it's
does more for the video than you know.
It's so huge, and it's like, yeah.
I've likened every comment to being about 50 views in terms of weight. That's kind of what tracks.
And dropping a like or a dislike on a video, leaving a rating. I mean, I actually wonder, like when I look back at the peaks of views I used to have, that actually directly correlates to when I used to do like targets for a bonus hour special in a Let's Play series. I used to say I'd do an hour long.
Like call to actions are huge. Like legitimately, the thing that makes me think my 100k views.
People hate it, and I hate it as well. I feel cringy about it, but
I've started doing them at the end of my videos when they're shorter and near the beginning, and I try to make them as engaging as possible. And one of the things that I say, and I've stolen this again from Harris Heller, is the thing of, if you don't have anything to say, leave your favorite emoji down below. So simple as that. And like, if you tell someone, hey, what you're doing will get me 100 extra views, some people will go, oh, I didn't know I had that much power, and they'll do it.
YouTube, at its core, and that is a social network site. In that, when you don't have a direct feed of stuff, but when you compare it to something like Facebook, you suddenly like, how does this look like Facebook? Well, essentially, on Facebook, when you open it up and you just see your home feed, and often it's lots of random posts about things that other people are clearly interested in that you're not, but because you're friends with them, because you've engaged with them, because you've watched their content, you find out all these extra activities and things that they're liking or that are going on around that. Similar to when you comment on a video of a creator you're subscribed to or that you watch a lot of, that ends up then helping push that through recommendations to similar people, or either that you've engaged or not, or share similar interests and have watch habits. But if you don't do that, your feed is going to be much more condensed down, and there's going to be less wider recommendations because it doesn't know. It only can pick up stuff when you either watch something or when you engage with it. But watching alone isn't kind of enough. So yeah, something I used to do as well, it's something I still try to do, but I should do it much earlier on in my videos. And I typically used to do it while I was like in Total War, when you load into a battle and you've got that little pause, that little break or something. I would throw out a question relative to, I'd be like, what's everyone's favorite unit? Or I was talking about animations the other day. I was like, oh, I really love the animations on this specific unit. What's everybody else's? And those videos are always really interesting to see how much better they do, because you've got that more constant engagement. And the thing is as well, I think there is a certain element of I think it does at times dive into specifically what you type, but still, typing something is still better than nothing. I mean, when people post comment for the algorithm and you're like, yay, but actually maybe could you just include some keywords in that about like, oh yeah, Total War's back or something, because I think that also feeds potentially indirectly, if you're one of those people that says for the algorithm, still feel free to say for the algorithm, but add another sentence that says insert key title of game, or, you know, something along the lines of, oh yeah, I love my favorite Total War is this.
Hey users, did you know hashtags work in comments?
Use them, please, because that really helps distribute and share.
It really does.
Please do it. Hashtag. Or, you know what? Next video, I'm going to say that. By the way, I'm going to probably record one after this, and I'm going to say, please share your favorite Total War themed hashtag.
Oh, I'd love to see if that really has an impact.
And I really hope people just, yeah.
My final little lesson learned recently is my editor, Dan, we love you. He came out to me. Came back to me. I mean, he came out to me. It's a very different thing. His wife would be. That would be a mortifying situation.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I think his wife might be all right with it. I don't know. She's the biggest fan of the podcast. She'll let us know. Either way, Freudian slip there. That's not what I meant. Dan came to me and said, "Hey, is it worth us doing custom captions for these videos anymore? I've been looking at the analytics and nobody watches them." And I went, "Yes." Do you want to know why? Because the captions system automatically feeds into Google's search terms. And that's
how it brings,
is something that drives the video. Because I don't know if you've ever Google searched something, like, how do I do this? And it will find the exact portion of a video. That's because it's using
spits it out,
the caption script. So having an accurate caption script with keywords definitely in it, very good, very nice. That's why as well you should always add like key phrases and like you're saying, like asking questions, because if someone then searches that question, it will have a direct pull to it.
It's always why, like, top of the description, if you can summarize what you're doing in that video and use as many key terms or reference the name of the game you're playing as possible, that is very useful and valuable for the search terms in with that.
I learned something as well on that the other day. You have 95 characters. 95 characters in
they get shown
in the description.
Right, yeah.
Get shown. No. So if you go over 100 characters in the first paragraph, so if you go over 95 characters in the first paragraph, it will put the show more there. But if you stick to 95 and then page break, you can get another line in.
Okay.
So I've started writing maximum 95 for the beginning, and then putting, like, if I have a sponsor on the video, putting their like link after that, and it will still show below the video without people having to show more.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
That's a final tip.
That's real nice.
Anyway, we've sadly got to end today's recording. We've rambled on. I hope it's been a constructive episode for you. I think it's been a bit of a wild jump from starting with Blue Sky, going with Troubles, and then essentially a small depresso espresso fest at the end, but it's kind of a good, healthy one. I think it's very, very apt for all creators to have those discussions and realizations of, hey, I'm underperforming, but that's okay. And you're okay too.
It is okay. It's not the end.
Exactly.
It's only the beginning.
Speaking of the beginning, we'll catch you next time when we upload.